And I think we might be live.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we are actually live. Nice. All right, welcome, Limit Breakers. How you guys doing? My name's Dr. Thaon Simms. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas to you and your family members. Joining us as always is your co-host, Dr. Matthew Preston. Hello, the people in Preston,
Hey guys, what's good?
and welcome to the Limitless Awards, the Limitless JSC Stock Awards 2025. Now, in a world of economic uncertainty. We have like crypto, AI, tech, different plays, different side hustles, and so on. I think the JSC is still like top tier, still OP. I think this is still the core of a lot of people's long term wealth, people's pensions, and so on. And this year we saw absolutely everything, right? We saw quiet compounders, dramatic meltdowns, new listings, dividend behemoths, like a couple stocks that lived in people's WhatsApp groups, right? A couple CEOs too, as well. So today, Preston and I decided we should give out some trophies, right? Because every company we talk about is listed on the JSE during the calendar year 2025, and we have a few categories, and for
Mm-hmm.
each category, we'll pick a winner, and we can give a couple honorable mentions if they deserve it. And just to let you guys know, these are our awards. I mean, yes, the data matters, but like the story does too, and its impact on us. So these are the Limitless Awards. All right, so it is subjective, right? It is subjective, but yeah. Preston, how you feeling about this one? Feeling
Yeah,
festive like me?
yeah, I think it's nice to, I guess, like review the year and go through some of
Mm-hmm.
the different things that happened and some of the different companies that and even some that we're looking forward to, I guess, next year too. So yeah, I think it would be nice to do it every year. I think we did an award um stream or something. I think it was for one of our anniversaries, but I think it'd be nice to do at the end of each year.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah.
Oh, Humble Boss says season greetings, guys. Bless up. Big up yourself, Humble Boss. Thanks for always being here. You know, I appreciate it. And blessings to you and the family. All right. So, what do you want us to do then, Preston? You want us to jump straight into it, into the first category?
Yeah.
All righty. What is
Mhm.
the first category? I'll let you start it off.
So the first one that I had
First
was
category. Yeah.
the biggest surprise for the year. I think that
Ah.
was the Dolphin Cove um,
Mm-hmm.
news about basically their, was it the company that owns the largest or the majority or the most of the shares of Dolphin Cove. They basically are having some issues paying some of the people that they borrowed money from. And that
Mm-hmm.
was, I'm trying to remember when in the year that started. I was like maybe quarter one, like March or February or something like that. And I think that was just a big shocker. It wasn't something like, oh, that you saw them having issues before. It wasn't something that I was following. I'm guessing to me maybe the most astute investors were hey looking at something like that. But I think it was just a shock to um I guess the markets. It was like, oh, Dolphin Cove was a company, they were doing well, profitable, they're paying nice
Mm-hmm.
dividends, and things are going well. It was like $20, and then bam, out of nowhere, it's like just one day, bam, as the news just dropped and people were just panicking, and the stock dropped from like $20 plus to like $10, $13 or something.
Mm.
And I think it was pretty interesting to like, because just yeah, it was just a biggest, because the award would be like the biggest surprise for the year. To me, that was the biggest surprise. I don't know how it was.
Mm.
Was it surprising for you?
It was. It was. I would say, um, for me, one of the biggest surprises was that was definitely high up there. I would agree with you. Like Dolphin Cove's parent company, and then the massive sell off, and people are wondering, are they gonna get taken over? Are they gonna sell them? And it's still in limbo right now, and I think there's still quite a bit of opportunity there. So especially for the new year coming in, so we'll see. I would say an honorable mention is GK losing Don
GK being
Webby
Grace
on
Kennedy.
Grace Kennedy Limited. Yeah, losing. Is it the Honorable Don Webby? I believe
Mm,
so. He passed this
mm,
year.
mm,
He's led Grace for years, like years, and Grace is the conglomerate that it is now, and it wouldn't have been this, massive company with such strong financial results and such strong balance sheet without him at the helm. So, I think that was a big shock to everyone, him passing. And, it kind of, I think a lot of people are wondering how is this gonna, like, in terms of like transition and succession planning, and how are they going to hit their targets and their goals that they actually set out to do. But we see them kind of still doing those kind of things, and I think that's a testament to Don Webby himself and just the organization that he has built. So yeah, that was a big surprise for me. So I would put that up there as well. But yeah, that was biggest surprise for me.
mm. Okay.
um Okay. Next company
Where I say
or the
Robert in the
next.
chat, Robert
Hmm.
Williams 876. He says happy holidays. Big up Robert. And he says Kintyre turnaround is another honorable mention. And he asked us what
Mm.
is going on with the Dequity IPO.
Oh, um, well, Kintile turnaround for me wasn't necessarily a big surprise. I always knew Tyrone would pull something out of the hat. I mean, even when we did our episode on iCreate, I don't know if you remember, or Kintile when he just changed it to Kintile and so on. And we
Mm-hmm.
spoke about Tyrone, and we said, "Yo, this guy always just make things happen." Right. So it's not a if, it was more of a when for me. So I wouldn't put him in this category. But who knows? Let's see if he comes in another category. Kintyre itself, the company. What's going on with the Dequity IPO? Huh. What is going on with the Dequity IPO? Well, we heard that they didn't raise enough funds.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they were going for their
It
IPO, they were
wasn't just
going
what we
for about.
heard, it was reported. The
Yeah, I know. They were going for
uh,
600, 57 mil. And, I think the minimum amount they wanted was 500 mil, but they didn't get that. So Preston is showing right now the screen. I don't know if you want to explain, Preston. Sorry,
yeah,
guys,
it
I'm
was
sick.
basically they
So,
were
yeah.
the company was trying to raise money. They were going to sell shares or ownership in the company, and the people didn't want to buy the company at the price that they were selling it at. Yeah. Yeah, I think
Y-
that was yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah, so they didn't proceed with the IPO, and then everyone's getting their refunds. And the refunds will be processed on or before January 6th, as they're saying. And I don't know who this is saying this, but this must be depressing for the team at Dequity. I don't think the media reports surrounding Dequity dampen the appetite for the IPO. Uh, I'm not really sure. It was more of a case Jamaican equities are not that attractive right now. Who is saying this? Because it's quoting somebody. I
Just a
disagree.
local trader.
Local trader. Oh, okay.
Um,
I don't know who that local trader is, but I wouldn't say that Jamaican equities are, not that attractive right now. And I think that leads us into our next category, which is best newcomer of the year. Best newcomer is it's basically any any IPO or any listing, I would say, any new listing. And we judged it based on how it was handled in terms of listings, oversubscribed or hype. you know, prospectus, promises, you know, price performance, all of those different things, how they're marketed and so on, all of that kind of stuff. And there haven't been many listings this year, as you guys know, but there
Mm-hmm.
have been a couple, and yeah, I know Dequity didn't, as you say, Robert, Dequity never made the list, but the company that we think that topped that list this year is Atlantic Hardware and Plumbing. So Atlantic, yeah, you know, we need to get some actual trophies and then deliver it to these companies. One
Mm-hmm.
year, one year, one year. Atlantic Hardware and Plumbing Company Limited. Yes. So Atlantic now is trading at what, $1.60? Wow. Atlantic is taking off. This is mooning, bro. This is flying. Um Atlantic's IPO, I believe, was $1 this year. I
Mm-hmm.
think it listed early April or so
Mm.
on. And yeah, I think it's just performed well. I mean, you can't complain. It's up 60%. I think the business model is simple. Uh, I think they're also gonna help a lot with the construction and the redevelopment of Jamaica.
Mm.
Uh, there was even opportunity when it dipped below IPO price this year. It dipped as low as I think seventy
A
six
good while.
cents. Yeah, and it would stayed down there for a while. So astute investors could have accumulated at that time. I mean, yes, you couldn't necessarily predict Hurricane Melissa, but I think the company itself and the synergies with Musson and so on, it had a lot of room and legs to grow for as a company. So yeah, and who knows? There's still probably opportunity even at this price. So and it's a tightly held stock. Not many shares are out there and so on. So yeah, Atlantic is definitely a stock we talk about a lot on the podcast. So yeah, I mean, I think best newcomer, Atlantic definitely deserves that award. Uh, any runner ups, Preston?
Which other listings we had this year?
Only one I can think of is West Indies Petroleum Terminal Limited.
Oh.
Yeah, Whipped. I
Mm.
think Whipped is different though because it's a listing by introduction. West Indies Petroleum Terminal Limited. Yeah, it's listing by introduction. So we've never really seen, we haven't seen that in a long time since AS Bryden, as we were saying. But and there haven't been many units traded. What's that? 5,000 units traded at 74 cents. Came out at 50
Mm.
cents. So you know that's you're up what, 48%.
It was 5,000 unit. Hold on, it was 5,000 unit. 5,000 units the employees were given. I'm trying to remember how much.
No, the employees were given, I think, 2 million units in total. I think only
No, I said
5,000
per
were traded.
employee.
I don't know. I don't. It said
I'm
that.
trying to remember. Yeah, I
I
think
don't think.
they.
I don't recall it saying per employee per se. But I
Yeah.
know it's about 2 million units that the employees got. So it's not many. It's very tightly held. So you know that stock is going to fly. So yeah, I mean that's another one, but it's very fresh, very very new. So we'll see how that trades because
Oh no, it's
it
20,000
just,
shares.
oh
Yeah.
yeah. I mean
Okay.
at this rate, let's see if this really does start to trade. I wouldn't see it really trading until like at least $1 or so on. So
Mm.
let's
Mm.
see. But yeah, those are the best newcomer. Oh wow. Oh, Kurt Gibson says thoughts on Whipped on that only trade of 5K units at 78 cents. Do you think it's a signal that that's the fair value range? Sorry, Kirk. I not necessarily. When I think of stocks and even the price, I more think of it in the sense of supply and demand. And, you know, because it's new and there is some hype around it, and we haven't had a listing in a long time, I think there is a lot of demand for it. And even if it's not a lot of demand, the fact that the supply is so small I think the price can just move because not many people are selling it. The first day, I don't think anyone sold any shares, uh, of trading. And then the day two, there was one trade of 5,000 units. And if there are only 2 million units and the employees have it, how many employees know that they can actually sell the stock? Those are some of the things you have to think about to like, if I were an employee at the terminal and maybe I was a driver of one of the trucks or so on, am I really gonna sell my shares or am I just gonna have it and you know just hold on to it? I think most people aren't actively trading, so I don't see a lot of people actually gonna trade this. And then I guess Preston is showing the queue. How many sell orders are in the queue? Were those three sell orders? I don't know what that was, Preston, if you brought up the queue a while ago. But there weren't many shares I just saw when you did that. So, oh, that is the
Yeah,
queue.
I was saying there's not much. There's a lot of buyers,
Mm,
but not there's not really much sellers. So
yeah.
I guess we will see.
And then
Guess we
you
will
can't put in
see.
an order over this price, 76 cents. So you have to wait until the next trading day to put in a higher order based on the trading
That'll be
rules. So
Monday.
Monday. So hey, this is just gonna go up. And look at the units that are forming in the queue. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about fair value, but I do know about supply and demand. And yeah, with so much demand and such little supply, the price is going to keep, you know, it's just gonna keep going up. And I guess we predicted this to Preston because we looked at it and we are like, yo, the top one and two hold basically everything. The only other
Mm-hmm.
person that holds some level of units is what's MDS's CEO's name again?
I
Can't
think it's
remember him.
Booth.
Booth, yeah, Kurt Booth or something like that. Sorry if I get your name wrong, Mr. Booth. Yeah, Kurt Booth there, and he has 20 million units. I don't necessarily see him selling either. And then the individual shareholders are 2 million. And 2 million is not a lot of units, really. And I don't expect even half of those people to
That's two.
sell.
That's 2 million units.
Yeah, yeah, units.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't expect half of those people or a quarter of those people to sell. So let's see how high this goes. It's interesting as a precursor for the larger company, West Indies Petroleum Energy Limited. And when that
Mm-hmm.
lists, I think they're just testing the waters with this. We can
Mm-hmm.
check out our whipped episode for those who are new. But yeah, so on to the next category. Preston, take it away.
So my next one was the most controversial one, which I thought was Jamaica Broilers. Right. So I know
Mm,
Jamaica Broilers was quite. There was a lot of. I mean, if you look at where the stock was coming from, the stock earlier this year was like $40, and then news came out about some issues with their accounting and how it wasn't being recorded correctly, and da 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 da, and the stock has basically halved. If you look at where it was coming from, $40 at its peak to under $20, and it was tough because it was like, oh, Jamaica Broilers was regarded as a very like safe company, blue chip. It was like, hey, this is something that, oh, it's chicken. People are always going to really need to eat chicken, and
mm-hmm.
there are not that many chicken producers in Jamaica to their size and the cost, like the whole, I guess, yeah, how affordable they can produce chicken prices at. So it was something that was regarded as quite safe and such, and yeah, it just shows that, hey, not there's always this is investing. There is always risk, in some ways it was also the biggest surprise. I
Yeah,
guess I run up behind Dolphin Cove. um but yeah, I mean, they seem to be doing a bit better. I think they released their report
they are
recently.
doing better. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they released their report recently, and then they did some like revaluation for some of the stuff that they have in Jamaica and stuff. so their balance sheet and stuff looks better. But I think their profitability. I think they still weren't profitable for their last recent quarter. Yeah, they still had a what's this? They still had a loss
Mm-hmm.
compared to last
379
year.
million.
Yeah, for the quarter at least.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, that was I think the most controversial. There were a lot of headlines about it, right?
Yeah,
And the
a
headlines
lot of
weren't.
headlines.
I don't think the headlines were saying nice things. JBG crisis deepens. Jamaica Burla saga. Yeah, see, even one came out this a cautionary tale of governance and the corrective measures. I wonder who wrote this article. The name isn't there. Yeah,
Mm,
$7.2 billion loss, $10 billion equity hold, breached covenants. So yeah, it was quite controversial.
yeah, I believe so too. I think yeah, it's just the company, the type of company you'd never expect something like this to happen from. That's what
Mm-hmm.
made this so controversial,
Mm-hmm.
and it being in the news, and also seeing some like not a lot of people really talking about it or covering it. I think we were probably the first to cover it, and when we were talking about it, the stock price was still in the 30s, still pretty high 30s. That episode that we did with Randy, and we clipped that segment of the episode where we just spoke about JBG, and this was like months ago when we saw all of this happening or about to happen. Um, and here we are today. So yeah, definitely shocked us, but I think this is still such a good opportunity if you are a longer term investor, because the Jamaican market, especially for chicken, people are still gonna. I mean, did you eat chicken for Christmas dinner? Did you guys eat chicken for Christmas dinner? Probably best dressed chicken on a buy still, So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm just saying, like, people are still gonna eat chicken. I think right now it's just those financial issues from that, from all of those, especially the U.S. operations, but Jamaica is holding strong. So I think there will be a good rebound, and they're incentivized to have a good rebound too. Their shareholders want a good rebound as well. So let's see. Let us see. And just checking
Mm-hmm.
the comments. One Coco Invest said, "I don't think people understood equity capital enough. They should just list by introduction. I definitely like the ideas he had." I will agree with you there in terms of people not understanding the equity capital. Preston, did you see a lot of marketing done by the equity? I I think for the amount that they're raising, because for me, the bigger the amount that you're raising, you have to have a direct proportional amount for your marketing budget, because you're targeting a lot of money. So you need a lot of investors, you need a lot of eyes on it, you need a lot of reach. You need to explain
Mm-hmm.
people what you're doing with the money and your plans and all of that kind of stuff. And for something of that size, I don't know if I saw it reach um, the places that I'd want it to reach. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe that's why you said people didn't understand equity capital enough. I don't know. They should list by introduction, but the only problem with that is they need cash. I mean, they said it. They're struggling with the debt that they have now, and
They
at
said
this
they were
point,
struggling.
what if me?
They said they were
I mean,
struggling with the debt, though. Could you use that
they
specific,
didn't
like
say they're struggling.
struggling?
Let me not use struggling. Let me not use the word struggling. I agree, Preston.
Careful.
They're not struggling, but it can be for the type of company that Equity is. It's a fund, right? And they've made a ton of money from Dollar. Like, great investment, beautiful investment. It's worked out great. And then Dollar itself forming Ultra and so on. Beautiful, worked out for them. The type of company they are, they're an investment firm. So it's always good for them to have cash on hand to be agile enough to take up different opportunities. Now, the majority of their portfolio is really and truly dollar. So would
Mm-hmm.
you want to be selling the most profitable thing that you have to be able to offload some of that debt, or kind of offload some of that burden? I don't necessarily think so, especially if dollar were to continue paying dividends, if they are going to, or even just keep growing capital gains and so on. So you may not necessarily want to do that. So IPO was probably the best route. I didn't mind that. I think it's good, and I don't mind companies paying down debt from an IPO. A lot of people are, you know, they're hesitant with that, but that's the same thing Atlantic did. And look at Atlantic now, up 60% year to date. So it's different. I just think that um I don't know, maybe it didn't reach as far. I'm not entirely sure why it didn't do
Mm.
so well. But yeah. And then Robert Williams said, could learn and NCB be runners up for controversial? Oh yes, fair enough,
Mm.
Robert. I agree. My thing with learn is learn hasn't even traded, man. So like, there's
That's
not much news
Edufocal.
about learn. Yeah, Edufocal.
Oh, hold on,
Um,
they're delisted they were suspended for a while, right?
yeah, they're suspended for a
Most of the
while.
year.
I think it was
Well,
the max amount
at
of
least a
time you
half of
can
the
be
year or so.
suspended. Yeah, I think it's the maximum, which is about 180 days. I think, don't quote me, but there's a maximum amount of time where you can be suspended without being delisted, and I think it was close to that max or at that max. I don't
Mm.
know. NCB for sure controversial. For sure is a runner up for controversial. I think
Mm.
everything that's been going on with NCB and Michael
Mm.
Leachin, uh, yeah, and we speak about it ad nauseum on this channel. And every few weeks there's something new that comes out. Even this
Mm.
deadline for the end of the year where he
Have
needs
any
to
new
find a
stuff come out
hundred.
recently?
Not that I've seen.
'Cause
Uh,
the deadline is what, December 31st, right?
hmm to find 95 million US.
Mm.
So
Mm.
definitely a controversial one. I'll give you that as well. Good shout, Robert. Good shout. Um, but yes, I believe we're on to the next category, and the next category for me would be actually the breakout sector of the year, and the breakout sector of the year also ties into the best newcomer, and I will say that's construction. Construction. I think that's the breakout sector for this year. Tourism has taken a little bit of a hit. Manufacturing, not as much, and so on. Agriculture has taken a hit. I think construction is going to be now the breakout sector. I think that's what post Hurricane Melissa and the damages. I think there's going to be a lot more efforts into that sector, into growing that sector, for that sector to help us get back on our feet, and the businesses and just all of Jamaica get back on their feet. And you could see it with a lot of the construction players now. I mean, we spoke about Atlantic and how it has grown. I think of other companies in construction industry like Carib Cement, and Carib Cement has grown tremendously. I'm not sure what the stock price is now, but the last I checked, it was at least close to. It was inching up to like $114. See there,
Mm.
closed at 113
113.
70 cents. Yeah,
What it started the year at like
113.
$90 or so.
Mm, would you look at that? Yeah, it started the year at $80,
So it's like what,
$87.
25% or so.
Mm-hmm. And so, yeah. And so, yeah, I think construction will just continue to grow because the efforts are just ongoing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and Hurricane Melissa or not, I'm hesitant to say or not, but I think there's still a big construction boom. Like, I don't know if you've been driving around Kingston, Preston, but you're seeing some tall apartment buildings going up. I've seen buildings completed. I don't know if you see like there's that building. Is it One Belmont? And there's that building off of Trafalgar, and there's like this huge building close to like apartment complex going up by Queens, and then Jatoris build. You see a lot of buildings going up, and they're tall buildings too, right? A lot of construction is going on right now in Jamaica, and so I think that the boom is just here to stay, and going into 2026, it's still just here to stay. And
Hmm.
so I would look at that industry a lot more and to see which other players might be affected positively. So yeah, um, so that's that segment.
Hmm.
Let us know if you guys have any other runner-ups for any of our segments as well. But let Preston go on to the next.
I think the next one I had was the biggest turnaround,
Mm,
which was Kintyre Holdings.
Kintyre Holdings.
Yeah, if you look at, I guess, what they have been doing over the last, let me see if I can pull it up. Like, the stock was at what, 30 cents or so at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, it went as low as like 20 cents or so in like March, April, June. For a good while, it was trading at around that level. And over the last few weeks or so, they've had a resurgence. They've been announcing certain, I guess, developments and stuff like that. I'm trying to think of which was. So yeah, they announced they bought some sort of. Have you ever tried a rum? Culture rum?
No, Tyrone's supposed to give us a sample though,
Mm,
We need to reach out to him. Yeah, Culture
yes.
Rum, so they acquired that.
Uh-huh. They've been announcing a lot of. Well, they've been, yeah, they're doing out a lot of announcements. I think
Mm-hmm.
some people are,
Real estate too.
I guess, like
Real
how
estate
some of the
acquisition.
announcements sound.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess time will tell to see, if they end up, if I guess how the announcements, or yeah, if there's actual, how the announcements play out. I guess
Yeah,
there's still, I
because they
guess, some
acquired.
things.
They just keep acquiring things though, like the properties in Jamaica
Yeah.
and Trinidad, and
Uh-huh.
then I think
But how?
he got money from. Didn't he? There was like a loan from Leechin or something like that too.
Mm.
Uh there's like a lot of things going on with Kintyre that
Mm-hmm.
for the thing I love about companies that trade so low in terms of like cents, nominal value, is it just seems very easy to move. Yes, there might be shares out there and so on, but the jump from 40 cents to 50 cents is 25%. You get me like that, and it doesn't seem like a big jump, but that's a huge jump. So
Mm.
it has turned around in terms of the stock price itself. I continue to look forward to I looking forward to more things, more disclosures. I'm I see Tyrone tweeting all the time about wow, look at that, you're so right, 26 cents November 24 to 50 cents now. That's like 100%, bro, in a month. You'd have had a very Merry Christmas if you bought on that day. 300K units traded on that day. Wow. Okay. Well, I mean, I think it has done a significant turnaround, and there's more to come. I believe it. I believe there will be more to come. So
Yeah, I hope it comes
let us
soon.
see. Mm,
I hope
mm,
it comes soon.
yeah. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think that's it for that category.
Mm-hmm.
I would say the next category is I don't know what we call this, People's Choice Award, the retail favorite stock. Um, I'm going to give that stock to Trans Jamaica Highway. I think it has to be Trans Jamaica Highway. I think the this is the people stock. It started the year strong. It was rallied strong. Then we hear Andrew saying he wants to, get rid of the rest from NRock, and so NRock sold its stake. The NRock had, I think, 20% left as the stake, and then sold that to the general public. They offered it for sale to the general public. Price dipped a bit. You could buy it a lot. I remember at $3.75. People were buying that up, buying that up. People jumped in the offer for sale, and then it started moving again. Um, and now it's almost $5. You remember when we did that episode, Transjam Road to 10? And we got like a lot of people messaging us, and I heard people saying, Transjam going to 10 on Brick Talk and weird things, and I'm like, wow, we're global. But I could tell that this is the people's stock, because not just in terms of capital gains, but they also pay really good dividends. So, I think this stock will be very popular for a very long time, just because of such a wide shareholder base. Like, almost a lot of a lot of people were brought to the market via Transjam, and then it has performed very well, and it will continue to pay people dividends and so on. So I I think this is one of those stocks that it will be people's favorite for a long time. I think maybe next year it will still win the same award. So let's see. Let's see. Yeah. I see that. I saw the phase 1C. Let's see when Mandeville leg actually does start to they get the revenue from that leg. So we'll see. We have a lot to look forward to. A lot to look
Yeah.
forward to.
Let's see. Next one, I was gonna say personal favorite stock of the year. I guess you can probably say yours, but I think my favorite was Supreme Ventures, or
Okay.
SVL. Yeah, I think
Okay.
they're.
Okay.
I think, what would I say? There were a lot of opportunities with this company. I think there are a lot of what would you say, like things that they're gearing up for. And yeah, I think it was quite an interesting company for the year. Quite interesting over the last year or so. If you even look at what price it is at now, it has been trending down, I
What
guess, over the
price is
last
it?
year. But today's, well,
15.
yeah, the time recording is 1584. But yeah, I think it was one of my favorite companies for the year. I think it is like a reliable company that keep paying their, can get your quarterly dividends from the company, or yeah, they pay dividends every now and then and so on. I think it's been quite an interesting company. Wow, year to date it's down 35%. Wow. Um, yeah.
Interesting.
You had a favorite company for the year?
I had companies I liked. It was hard for me to pick a favorite. Uh, there's RPL I liked. Um,
Regency Petroleum.
Regency Petroleum Company Limited. I've always kind of liked RPL. I think this year was good for them. They started the year at around $3, and now they're trading at $4. They've gone as high as almost $5 too, $4.50, I should say. I think, in terms of the ambition of a company, I like ambitious companies, and I think RPL embodies that. They started off with, in their IPO was when, last year or the year before. I think their IPO was like January last year, and
No, last
they
year's
only
2024. No,
or
they listed
2023. When did
2022.
this? Really? Yes,
I
the
think
list.
so.
Wow, time just flies, man. Yeah, you're right. They did list 2022. You're very right. And they listed as $1, and
Hold on.
they only had one gas station, and it was operating out of the bare minimum. And now they have what? They have a couple. They have Paradise Pen, Negril, and they even expanded their
The Spanish
LPG
Town one.
segment. And now they have the Spanish Town gas station as well, one off Spanish Town
Do you
Road.
know how badly they were
Uh,
affected by Beryl? I mean, by Melissa, though. I know they are mostly based in Westmoreland, and then
I drove,
Westmoreland was at ground zero.
yeah, I drove past. The Negril one wasn't badly damaged. I think the one in Paradise Pen, though, I saw
Mm.
damages to it.
Like it was
Um,
still open though, or no?
at the time, it wasn't open, but I drove past Negril like the week or two, the week after Melissa. Yeah, it's the week after
Mm.
Melissa. So I'm not sure what um
It's
happened there
doing
in
now.
terms of what's yeah, exactly. But it was damaged for sure. And I don't recall them putting out a notice saying, we were badly damaged or anything like that. But I don't know. Maybe it was more just face value stuff. But they definitely did look damaged when I passed by them. But that was first week. They could have cleaned that up easy, easy. So yeah, but I just think that they're an ambitious company. They're ready to grow, and who knows? I'm looking forward to the next service station, Andrew. You know, keep it up, keep up the good work. So that I think RPL would be my stock of the year. Yeah, it definitely be my stock of the year. Update on Hurricane Melissa.
Yeah, could have said their filling station in Crawford, St. Elizabeth, which is filling of the cooking gas containers, experienced damage and was not immediately in use at the time of this report. The report was released November 14th, and then Melissa was
Mm,
end of October, so it's about 2 weeks or so. Yeah, so the location must be reviewed by a professional assessor as required. Oh. But it
Them
has
have
arranged
insurance.
alternative arrangements to satisfy customer demand. And they said they have insurance for its service stations, filling stations.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Mm. They said they'll provide a more detailed update on our affairs by the publication of our audited financials. Okay.
Okay, not bad.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we'll hear more when their audited comes out. But yeah,
Mm.
RPL kind of always the gift that keeps on giving. Let's see.
Yeah. Then the next one was like for me was like the most popular stock, which I think was NCB.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, even people who I think don't even really invest in stocks were hearing about NCB and all of the stuff happening with the
mm-hmm.
majority shareholder and his affiliated companies, Michael Leachin. So it's probably been one of the more heavily traded stocks for the year, I'd assume.
Yeah,
And yeah, just a lot of articles were in the paper about NCB and Michael Leachin and all these stuff going on with the company. So I think it was one of the most popular stocks. In fact, people who don't
definitely.
invest or don't invest in stocks hearing about it, that shows me, hey, this is something that's a big deal. And I think it will likely be even more popular depending on what happens the end of this year, because we're recording now
Mm,
what Boxing Day, and the deadline
yeah,
that was stated was the 31st of December to find like $100 million. So I guess we will see if the companies are able to find 100 million to pay down
I guess
the
we'll
money that
see.
they owe.
I'm curious. I'm waiting for that. Well, I guess we won't know until the following couple days, like after the holidays
Mm,
or so on. But I'm curious to see what will actually happen because I mean, it's a big deal, and a lot of eyes are on this deal. There are a
mm,
lot of NCB shareholders. I mean, I know a lot
mm,
of you guys know a lot of NCB shareholders.
mm.
So it's
Do you
just
think it
such
would
a
halt up
topical.
or down if it came out that he couldn't pay?
Oh, good question. Probably halt down in fear of like people, him losing the company, other people getting
Mm-hmm,
the shares, and then just selling the shares to try and get back some money.
mm-hmm,
And then just fear and uncertainty around ownership doesn't always bode well with the
mm-hmm,
market.
mm-hmm,
We have a very fearful market. If he does keep it though, I mean, we've seen him do so like the positive news around leeching
Mm-hmm.
affecting the stock price positively as well. So even earlier this year, when it when we were talking about NCB and the uncertainty with them paying back debt and so on, and leveraging Guardian shares, and how the stock price was depressed, and then everything was calm when they, got their funds and closed the bond, and then the stock price rose again. So I think that the stock price will rebound positively if Michael Leachin does find the money. So
Mm-hmm.
it's, are you guys gonna bet on it and buy, you know, or are you watching from the sidelines? I know Preston's watching from the sidelines. I haven't fully decided yet because I think there is a lot of money to be made in this deal.
Mm.
Uh, but let's see
So how
what
would
the
you do
big
it
boss
then?
does. How would I do it in terms of
Mm-hmm.
buying? Uh,
Or selling?
I- well, I don't own now, so it'd have to be buying. And
Mm-hmm.
honestly, I don't know, which is why I haven't bought yet. It's difficult to know. At this point, it would be gambling for me because I just don't really know. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it it's a tall ask if you ask me, because the we heard about them wanting $100 million US, by the way, from Michael Leachin this month, or late, or very late last month, November. So imagine you give a man a 1 month deadline to find 100 million US.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for me to see him finding the money, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't fully doubt him. Like I think he possibly could,
Mm-hmm.
but that's why I called it, pulling the rabbit out the hat, man. Like it would be a magic trick if
Ta-da!
he does. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, I have a lot of respect for Michael Leachin, um, and the companies he's built. I mean, look at NCB; it's a massive company. It takes a
Mm-hmm.
lot for you to get there, and his story as to how he got there, and him, buying one stock. I mean, we've done episodes on Michael Leachin in the past, so you know, let's just see what he does. I don't know what I would do because, as I said, it would be gambling at this point, and we don't gamble. Not here at Limitless. Um, yeah, we do proper research and so on. So
Mm.
let's see. Let us see.
Mm. I was just thinking that it could be in that initial like panic. Say if he's not able to find the money, I was thinking those
Hmm.
next probably 3 days or so after the news comes out, the stock could like people could put kind of panic sell or so, and
Well, the
you could
the news. Okay, yeah, true.
it's like you could
Because you wouldn't
buy
hear
into
anything.
that fear maybe like day
Hmm.
2 or day 3 or so after that panic, and I don't know. My problem is just I feel like I wouldn't try to get that much from something like that.
Yeah.
Um, Probably like 10% or 5% or something like that, which I don't
I
think
mean,
it's worth it.
you can move millions though.
Yeah, I can
That's
lose
the thing.
millions.
NCB. Yeah, yeah. That's the thing with NCB. It's
Kirk
such a it. The
Kirk
stock
Gibson say he's
can
in
hold a
it
lot.
and he's biting his nails, fingers crossed. Still has 45 days after still to pay. Yeah, oh yeah, that's true.
That's
He did say
true.
that.
Yeah,
I found that funny. I was like,
yeah.
it's not really. It's really Valentine's Day.
Hmm.
They say if the US thing is not paid in full, the trustee is formally instructed to serve a notice within 45 days.
Mm. Boy, Kirk, I hope your Valentine's good, man. Because if you're biting your nails now,
Mm-hmm.
man have no nails by Valentine's Day.
Yeah. So your play was you bought Kirk, you bought when this news came out, or it's like you had the shares from before and you're just waiting on this? Like your play was on this specifically, like trying
Yeah,
to
let us know. What was your
yeah,
thought process? Um,
yeah.
and I guess that just means you think he'll
If you hold it from
find
last
the
year, he
money,
said.
or oh,
Oh.
okay.
Okay. Godspeed to you, man. I hope.
Have you bought more, or do you plan to buy more? But you sound nervous. I don't know if you plan to buy more.
Mhm.
I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, man,
But
NCB
yeah, I
is one that
guess
I'm just
we're
I'm
still watching
watching
from the
right now
sidelines.
from the sidelines. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah,
Uh,
yeah.
I think my next one would be the most disappointing stock for the year for me,
Mm-hmm.
which was Tropical Battery. You know, Tropical Battery. I mean, I have,
Wah, wah,
I guess,
wah.
emotional ties to Tropical. Made like good money off the company in the past, and the management was
Ah,
saying, hey, that their secondary public offering was going to be different than all the other secondary public offerings. They were going to
mm-hmm.
be able to increase earnings per share and increase dividends and really grow the company. And they were giving up their tax break early. So they are listed on junior
Mm-hmm.
market for the first 5 years. They would pay, because I think they listed 2020. So and we're 2025 now. So for the first 5 years, there would have been no corporate income tax or business income tax. And then for the next 5 years, they'd pay half of that. And they said, hey, we're going to buy this company, raise so much money from shareholders that we're going to have to go to the main market and break that. And it would be worth
Yeah.
it. But if you just look at how the company has been performing, like they said, hey, earnings per share is going to increase. But what was their, let me see what their well, first off, they're delayed. Most recent audited financials were delayed.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's say their most recent numbers were their quarter three, which was up to June 2025. Let's see their earnings. So instead of last year, they had made, what's this, 104 million in profits. Instead, they lost $47 million. So
Mm-hmm.
instead of going from, so they said, hey, like we're gonna make profits, we're gonna increase earnings per share, we're gonna do this, and instead they went to major losses, and then they also lost their tax break.
Yeah.
I think it.
That's tough to be able to give up your tax break and it not benefit you. You know, because I know what they wanted to do, and in
Hmm.
theory, I guess it sounded nice. Because
Hmm.
yeah, we'll take shareholders' money. We're gonna invest in all these different things that we're doing, and
Hmm.
for it to just not work out, it's tough. But for you to be losing money now,
Hmm.
and then
And
we,
you
we
also
can't see the
issued a lot of
audited,
shares.
and you
So you
issued a lot
brought
of
in new
shares on top of that.
shareholders at a price. I think what was the APO price?
No idea, man. Was it two
I think it was
dollars?
like a
I feel like
dollar
it was below
something.
$2.
I think it
We'd
was
have to check
almost two
that
dollars or so.
prospectus. I remember
Um,
like skimming the prospectus, and I was just like, "Oh, tropical, tropical, tropical." Because in previous um in previous meetings that I used to see Melville on, who is the CEO, he was talking. He always said he would do an APO, but I always wondered if he just used that word because that's the word that people use, or if he was serious about doing the APO. I'm just
mhm.
like, but there's so many other ways to raise money. You don't need to necessarily go that route, because I don't know, losing your
Well,
tax
SPO
break.
actually,
It's
secondary
just
public offering.
my
The
bad.
document says secondary public offering SPO.
Yeah,
It was a
that's
dollar
true.
87. But I guess by the time
Mm-hmm.
you add in fees, that's almost $2. So it's like, hey, we brought in a lot of shareholders at $2. Now it's trading below that price, and there's
Mm-hmm.
losses. It's kind of, yeah, it's kind of tough. I'm trying to think what would really take for it to bring it back
To the
to
next
that
level.
$2 and above. Yeah, beyond the $2 to the $3 or so.
Your margins are
Yeah.
squeezed now that you don't have a tax break.
Hmm.
So there's also that. It's just a bit more. I see why it's disappointing to you because we were shareholders of Tropical too. I mean, before
Hmm.
this APO talk and so on, I remember making money off of Tropical, buying at $2, selling at basically $3. Those are good times because
Hmm.
I mean, I like Tropical. I use their batteries too. You were the one that told
Yeah,
me about
I
the
just
mobile
recently,
service.
yeah, recently I used their mobile service, and I had used it
I don't know
like
if you guys
3 years
know about that
ago. The
service,
battery lasts like three
but
years.
like if your battery dies and you can't move your car, you just call them, and a guy shows up on a bike and changes you
Hmm.
the battery and so on. You just pay. I think that's
Yeah.
brilliant. That's convenient because your car literally can't start, so you can't move. So they just come to you. So I
Hmm.
think that the mobile service it's a good business, a really good business. But
Hmm. Especially even like if you think of the solar demand, like with Melissa, like for example, I have a
hmm
cousin that apparently in his complex, he lives in like Mobay. There were not that many people who had solar pre Melissa. And then
hmm
because they lost power for a very long time, a bunch of people switched to solar and stuff like that. I'm not sure if they necessarily specifically use Tropical's products, but I think
yeah.
with Melissa and these storms, they have encouraged some people to say, hey, we want to have something more reliable instead of like JPS, so like we could have it as a backup or so. So I think energy
mm,
suppliers just like Tropical, like JetCon, like Energy and stuff are gonna
yeah.
get possibility for like new business, and Wigton, I guess, a possibility for a lot of new business and stuff like that. So it
mm,
is, um, yeah, but yeah, it's happened. I don't think the company is dead, but
Definitely not dead.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
I really
it's
hope
gonna
that
be
giving out the
difficult to
tax break
navigate.
was worth it for them. I see
Yeah.
Kirk says, I think the loan turn equity for Cygnus. Uh, hold on, didn't they pay down? I think they had borrowed money from Cygnus, but I thought they refinanced it with. I'd have to check. What's the point though?
uh oh, tropical. I mean, we
Yeah.
always we always speak about stocks like this though, and the negative sentiment around stocks, and we think, oh, might be an opportunity to buy because look at the price now. Would you buy this though, Preston?
Tropical.
Yeah. You
Um,
think they're at a low point, low
not
enough for you to
no,
buy?
not no, not
Mm.
no.
You think they have further to go?
For further in terms of what?
As in, why wouldn't you see this as an opportunity right now?
Um, I don't know. I'm not really expecting something. I feel like some big, like positive, some big, nice, positive news around them.
Mm-hmm.
I see them. They put out a notice saying that their audited financials are delayed. These are numbers from the end of September, so it would have been due October, November. So end of November. So will be released by December 31st instead of the initial due date. And they say operational disruptions. A delay in receiving evaluation from their actuary. I'm just wondering how this. Can't remember. I think they had a point where they were having delayed audited numbers in the past, and then the numbers never looked very good. I hope that's not the case now. But then I'm wondering, hey, what if that were the case again? And if that
Mm-hmm.
were the case, then what happens if people see this and then they even are more scared of it and they want to sell their shares even more? There
Mm.
could be a further drop. Um,
It's just a lot of shares out there now. I
hmm.
don't know, man. That's the one thing we fear with APOs is just now you've given a lot more people,
Well,
a lot more
secondary offerings or
shareholders.
secondary public offerings, not APOs. It was not APOs, a secondary public offering.
Well, I guess. Yeah,
They
you're
said
right.
it. They said it. They said it.
No, I'm not saying no. I'm not saying no. Semantics. Tomato, tomato. Um, but yeah, man, like it's just the amount of shares that are out there. So the supply is so heavy. So I said we made stocks in a more stock prices on a more supply and demand thing. That's the point of view I usually look at it. And when you increase the supply that much, it's just hard for the stock price to. You really have to do something like pulling the rabbit out the hat to get the stock price back up. Like it's you're gonna have to come with something good. Because even if they start printing profits again, I don't necessarily think the stock price will move tremendously. I don't see it going over APO price for the next couple of years, actually. But that's just me. So they'd have to do something absolutely magnificent to get that stock price above APO price. But yeah, that's just my
There's a
thoughts.
spin-off rules.
Spin off Rose, yeah, spin off Rose,
They're
or
bought, yeah.
something, or acquire. Well, no, they can't acquire anybody else right now.
Yeah, 'cause I think Rose was the like a
Big acquisition,
specialty battery
battery. Mm-hmm.
manufacturing company. I think they own all of it,
Mm-hmm.
so technically they could spin it off and sell a piece of their stake. Um, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You could give us a piece of Rose.
Hmm.
Yeah, would love that. But yeah, I think we have finished our stock. Um, I think there's the only other thing, I guess, in terms of the categories. Uh, our best guess. This is now the Limitless Awards. The best guest. I would say our favorite guest would probably be for this year. Would actually be probably Randy. Actually, I thought that episode was good. Every time we have Randy on the
Hmm.
podcast, we speak for hours, yo. Like it's always just hours. And then
Hmm.
even when the episode is done, and we're like, we're gonna go. We end up spending another couple hours just talking. And it's not until it's like he gets a call from his wife, and we're like, yeah, we need to just get this conversation now. But that's just a testament to how good the conversation is. So
Hmm.
yeah, I think that's and the episode performed pretty well too, with Randy. And we even the famous broilers episode, a lot of people know us from that broilers episode, was also because Randy was probably on it too. And broilers being topical and just the kind of conversation we're having about broilers. So I would say, yeah, uh, definitely Randy gets that award for
Hmm.
being the best guest this year.
Hmm.
And yeah, anything else you want to share with the people then?
Trying to think. You had it.
What's
I was
your
thinking.
what's your biggest lesson of this year?
I think. Well, I had a couple lessons. I think in terms of like investing lessons, I think it's to be uh like more conservative. So it's like, hey, looking for I like those kind of plays where, hey, you don't really need it to, what would I say, like sometimes, like it's a mistake I made before where, okay, I go into a play, say I'm buying a stock at $2, and it's like I always just want to have the greatest gain possibly from it. So it's like, okay, I'll try to look at the stock at $2 and try to find reasons why it could go to $4. But then it's like sometimes it really is a $3 stock where it's like I'm trying to find the reason to justify, that I could get all the gain from this. Sometimes it's, hey,
Mm-hmm.
just it's better to, I guess, be a bit more conservative. So okay, if you if you're looking
Margin of
for,
safety.
yeah, I guess like having a nice margin of safety, like you're looking at a stock, you're saying the stock is say worth $4, and you could buy it at $2 right now. That's a nice margin of safety because, okay, it could double possibly, but remember that you might be wrong with your $4. Maybe it's actually
That's true.
$3, maybe it's actually $1. Versus looking at a stock at, hey, it's $2. I think it could go to $2.50 or so. It's like I like to find those things with possibly greater gains, or when you compare the how much I think it could be worth versus how much it's actually trading at now. So it's like, okay, I think it could give 50%, versus right now it's, yeah, I don't know if that makes sense. So even like some of the plays
No,
I
it
was at,
makes
I was like,
sense.
okay, I think it's gonna go to $20. Be like, hey, just to be safe, just put it below.
Yeah.
Um,
I think it makes a lot of sense. It's the same lesson I keep learning.
mm,
It's just to be also a bit more patient with my plays too. Even though sometimes we can see things from far out, you have to
mm,
also wait on everyone else to see things. So it's
mm,
like,
mm,
just be patient, bro. Like it
mm,
will happen. I just need
mm,
to figure out when it will happen in greater
mm,
certainty, and that comes with more research. But Yeah, it's
And
to
also
be a
trusting
bit more
myself.
patient with my play.
Because that sometimes
Mm,
I think I would try to look. It's like I have an idea and I'm like, hey, I fill out a thesis. I'm like, hey, am I crazy? Like, and I go to someone with a
mm-hmm.
thesis, and it's like, oh, they
Yeah,
don't agree, and it's like I'm
yeah.
just like, oh damn. But it's almost like it's weird because it's almost like for the thesis to actually play out, it needs to be crazy to someone. It
If you
shouldn't
guys
do
are
that.
watching, I want you guys to tell me what's your biggest lesson of 2026. Yeah, what's your biggest
2025.
lesson this year? 2025. Sorry, yeah, 2025. I'm here already thinking I'm in 2026.
Man's in the
Yeah.
future.
That's limitless for you. But
Yeah,
I agree with you, man. Like, and some of those
yeah.
lessons are hard. Like they're very hard to learn because sometimes I'll be learning the same lessons. I'll just be learning the same lessons over and over.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's okay
But
to sound a bit crazy, you know. It's okay to
mhm,
not have
it
people
is.
agree with you.
Yeah.
Uh,
Remember when I think you found there's a play that you said that you thought you were super crazy about, and then it happened.
mhm.
Oh, what was it? Which play was that? Do you remember which play that was?
I
And you
think there's
told
that
Shaq
more than
about
one.
it.
There's a couple, so
Yeah.
it's hard to
No,
say
there's
which
one you told
specific
Shaq
one.
about, and Shaq was downplaying it. I can't remember which play
Oh,
that
I think it
was,
was Trans
man.
Jam. Trans Jam.
Trans Jam. It was
Yeah,
Trans Jam, and then you
yeah,
saw the directors buying.
yeah,
Yeah, it was Trans Jam, and it's
yeah.
funny because I ended up eventually buying Trans Jam way after you thought of like that kind of stuff, and it
Hmm.
still started to move too. And I'm just like, yo, Preston was right. This thing had legs, because I think you're calling it from a dollar, maybe 80 or so, and I was buying
It
at
was like a dollar
$2, like,
40. It was a dollar
yeah,
40.
it was a dollar 40,
It was
yeah.
a dollar
And
40.
then
I
I
know.
bought at like 240 or two
Uh,
something, or I think it was like 220, and I'm like, yo, maybe I'm late to this train. And then the thing ended up going
mm,
like
it's
three.
almost
I
$5
remember,
now. So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So lesson is you may not be crazy, you know. You may not actually be crazy.
It's a little crazy. It's a little crazy.
Mm,
But a little crazy is
no,
good.
no, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We need people like you. Hmm.
Hmm.
Kirk. Oh wow, Kirk. I missed a lot of what you were saying. Tropical parent company has an interest in Choco Caribbean. True. Would they list Choco? I don't know.
I remember at one point they were
Probably not
talking.
right now.
There was an article that was mentioning about it listing. You know, like it was like Mayberry
Yeah,
or something.
the Melville's own Choco
Yeah, it'd
too,
be interesting
or
to see how
their.
they were damaged
Mm-hmm.
by Melissa. Yeah, maybe that would actually push them to
Facts.
list. Who knows?
Maybe. And
Yeah,
he
that push
says
them to
think
list
they
them under
might
pressure.
list in the future the situation, fast track that process. We will see.
Mm. Hmm.
And then he says his lesson is profit is not realized unless you sell. Sell when you see your profit. Big
Mm.
facts. Right? Yeah, the stock can go up, but yeah, you have to actually
What's that?
sell to
That
be
saying
like,
about one in the
I
hand
made.
is better than two in the bush.
Yeah, facts. That's
Mm.
true. Hmm. Um, that's very true, Kirk. Yeah, lock in your gains, sell and lock in your gains. That's so true. Because that stock can just tank the next day. I've learned that. I've learned that lesson before. A couple of years ago, and that not happened to me again. Where
It will
I'm
happen.
up like 50%, and I'm
I'm
like, yeah,
sure it will
man,
happen.
profits. I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna tell my mother. I'm like, yo,
I'm sure
mommy,
it's
I'm
gonna happen
rich.
again.
Mommy, I'm rich. I made it. And then the stock
Yeah,
started to drop. And then I had to end up selling at like what, 30% instead. I was just like, Jano. Mm.
it's still gains,
But
yo.
yeah, but people say green is
Because
green, but
50% was the top, right?
50% was the peak.
Yeah. So
The
what you thought you get
absolute
the peak?
peak.
Come on.
Yeah. I need to learn how to estimate the peak. But Kirk agrees that
It's not
yes, my
a.
bro, 2026 is a different method, a more refined method. Yeah, it's gonna require some finesse. Um, gonna definitely require some finesse. And you're right, finding the peak is you won't know it's the peak until after. So It's nearly
Exactly.
impossible to do. But
Hmm.
if it's anyone that can do it, is limit breakers. It's you guys as limit breakers as well.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, the
But
coolest moments of the year,
in terms of stocks,
just or general.
um, coolest moments of the year. I think going to Trinidad was fun. Trinidad Carnival was really good. And being able to afford that was really good too. Funny, big up Transjam. But yeah,
Hmm.
I think Trinidad was the coolest moment of the year. And seeing Shanice, parting with Shanice, guys, you'll see Shanice soon. We have a stocks to watch episode coming up. So if you're new here, please subscribe, drop a like on this video. But yeah, you guys will see Shanice in the next week or so. Probably next week we'll drop that on our stock predictions 2026. You don't want to miss that episode. I think that was probably one of my favorite episodes we've ever recorded because it's not the stocks you think we're gonna list. If you're thinking we're gonna be like NCB, Transjam, nah. But you just gotta wait and see. You just gotta wait and see. But yeah, that I think going to Trinidad was fun. Different boat cruises. There was a day I partied for almost 24 hours straight, and I'll never do that again. Yeah.
Whoa.
Some lessons you just have to learn the hard way, you know? But yeah, I'm glad I got to be able to learn that lesson though. So yeah,
Mhm.
that was
Learn.
the coolest. Yeah,
Say
learn. How
learn.
about you? What was the
Uh,
coolest lesson you learned this year?
what was the lesson? It was
Or
it's a
coolest
coolest
experience,
moment.
sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was going to the United Kingdom or
Mm-hmm.
England. I think it's been a while since I had like traveled. And I actually have a picture I was gonna show here. I went to the London Stock Exchange building.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, I took a picture. Um, so we will see.
We'll
Yeah, I
see
think it
if
was
GK gets
interesting.
listed. Gets listed on the
Yeah.
London Stock Exchange.
I
Yeah,
feel like they'd probably
yeah,
list US
Grace
still,
Kennedy.
but I guess we will see.
I don't know. I saw for I know their 2030 vision. They wanted to list on an overseas market, and I
Hmm.
think it was the is it the food or the finance? I don't remember which one. One was local and one was um international. But the London Stock Exchange, I remember was being spoken about more than
Mm.
any US or Nasdaq or anything like that. So we'll see. We'll
Hmm.
see. But hey, that would be big if Grace is listed over there.
Hmm.
Uh
You should
and then
check
we
the
have some
chat.
comments. Mm-hmm. My dad says my lesson is to do proper research before selling what you have and also to continue listening to Limitless. Big up to my number one supporter. Big up, Pops. Um, and then 1 Coco Invest said, lesson is to take back your initial investment at 100%, diversify and keep invested and collect dividends. A lot of lessons
Mm.
there. A lot of lessons. Interesting. Well, I agree with Thaon Simms. Lesson is to do proper research before selling. Yeah, man, and even more research before buying
Even
too.
before buying, yeah. I think that's
Yeah,
a big
yeah,
issue that sometimes you have like you'll buy it and then you'll start to just try and there's like a name for that bias. You just try to find things to justify the
why
company
you
being
bought it.
worth this much versus you should be
Mm-hmm.
spending more time finding reasons to disqualify it,
Yeah,
you know. And then
that's
there's that
always hard.
inherent bias when you're like, oh, you already own it and you're going to try to want something to justify you buying it more or justifying it
Mm-hmm.
going up. Like suppose it's dropped from the price you bought that, you're going to just try to find reasons as to why it should be worth more versus you're trying to remove that bias of actually being in the thing before you buy it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But continue listening to Limitless is great advice. Amazing advice. I would say out of everybody else here, that was the number one thing mentioned. A joke, big up. And then 1 Coco. I'm trying to dissect everything. Let's necessitate back your initial investment at 100%. Diversify. I'm trying to understand this. Diversify and keep invested and collect dividends. Um. Okay. I mean, if those are your lessons, I don't necessarily agree with the first two. You said lessons is take back your initial investment at 100%. Trying to
Mm-hmm.
understand that, meaning, you know, your goal is 100% every time you invest. I don't know if you can clarify that, or is it that you're just trying to recoup everything? That I don't know. I don't know. But then you said diversify. I don't know. I'm not a fan of diversification for diversification's sake. Like if I have three players, one of them is going to give me 50%, one or one may give me 50, one may give me 20, one may give me 10. And I have the same confidence level in all three of them, I'm not diversifying. I'm going for the 50%. But that's just me, I guess. Um it boils down to your confidence level for all of them. And
Mm-hmm.
if really and truly you have the same confidence level at that 50% as you do with that 20% play, as you do with that 10% play, why go for the 10%? Why go for the 20%? And then
Mm-hmm.
you have to try and figure out, for me, all right, how can I increase my confidence level in this 50%? Same thing Preston was talking about, like stress test your theory. Figure out ways as to why this can go wrong instead of why this can go right. Because you already have this level of confidence that this can go right. Now you have to
Mm-hmm.
stress it and be like,
It's a
yo,
triple check it,
how?
double check it,
Yeah,
quadruple check it. Yeah, that saved me this
quadruple check
year.
it.
It's a
Mm-hmm.
triple. I think it's what I did. A triple check it. I was like, wait.
Yeah. I even had to check one thing for you and be like, yo, it's this, not that.
Mm-hmm.
So but it's good because that's how you learn, like having somebody else that you
Exactly. Imagine if
tell
I just
some.
told you sell at this price,
Hmm.
bro.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd probably be dead in
That's
the
why I
water.
don't want to do that.
When? you know when?
Yeah.
Because the date also matters, the timing matters, you know your goals matter, so it's a bit different. But I agree, keep invested, collect dividends. Yeah, man, that's what we're here for. We're here to win.
Mm.
So yeah, man, 1-1, that's literally 1-1 coco. Love that, love that. Uh, but yeah, I think this was pretty good. Um, Stay tuned for Limitless Awards 2026. I think that's gonna be great too. And if you guys have any categories you think we should do, you know, let us know. Let us know. All right. I think the People's Choice Award would probably be Stock of the Year, because for me, I think that's the overall champion. And I still think that would be Trans Jam. I don't think anyone would disagree per se. But let's
Let's
do
see if
an
Transjam
actual
can win
people
it again next year.
facts, and we can do an actual People's Choice Award where we send out let people vote. I'd love to let people vote. I'm thinking of some cooler awards like this age like Milk Award, you know, or something like that. Um, Instead of the tropical one, it'd probably be this
Mm.
age like Milk, because the
Or maybe
APO.
Tropical will be the greatest turnaround next year.
Maybe. That's the beautiful thing about stocks, man. Up and down, like it's a roller coaster, and so
About
there's
life.
always opportunities. Yeah, just like life.
Yeah. But think about it. What if last year we were saying biggest letdown was Kintyre, and then this
Yeah.
year it turned into biggest turnaround.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Most improved. So I guess we will see. But until then, guys, I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas. All right, and a Happy New Year if we don't get to wish it to you next week. Thank you so much for always being a part of the Limitless family. Please always drop a like, subscribe, and share with a friend, right? Who you they may not be fully into investing. They're probably looking to get into investing, and I just want to hear people talk about stocks in a real way. And yeah, we'd appreciate that because that's what we're here for. Thank you guys so much, and like always, stay limitless.
Peace.